I've got 2 reserves.
I knew Tony years ago at Fifth Street Bar and Grill, and that's who I was referring to, Sam Travers, a very good friend of both of ours, a mentor to me. And so I asked Tony what he'd been doing, and he was telling me about the pole that he was carving at Government House. So I went down to visit him, to see the pole and to see him carving. And we started chatting, and he said, "Would you like a pole? I'd like to carve you a pole." So I came home, I was honored at the moment, and I came home and I talked to my husband, and I went, can we have this done? So my husband went down, we went down and talked to Tony again, and we made an agreement to have the pole carved. So Tony carved it with him, and Mike brought the log with some friends back from Government House. It's the base, that yellow cedar is the base of the pole that's at Government House. It's a quarter of this. I think it's a 300-year-old cedar, but I'm going to ask.
Right.
Tony, how old is that cedar, the yellow cedar? 400 years old. 400-year-old cedar. And so it was wonderful for Tony and I to reconnect after all these years, and to have, it was amazing to be in my kitchen. Tony carved it just right there in our carport. And such an honor to look out the window on multiple evenings in wintertime, in November, and Tony, his son Tony Jr., his grandson Robert, Rodney, his son-in-law, and they're all my husband, and they're all with lights, and my husband had a heater set up, and they're all carving the pole. It was just very spiritual and very precious memory. It's been a wonderful experience.
In the beginning, I'd been taught in tradition all my life. When my uncle died, my grandfather, Mungo Warden, he passed away. He left the rights to teach tradition to Tommy Hunt. Traditionally, the people like my uncle, but he was more than that. So as an artist, it just happens that a treasury chief like me is also an artist. So I took him to some of our pole projects I had in Germany and Japan, and he said, in Guatemala, he'd make a speech, and he said, "You do not make anything and just plant it and leave." That's a real great statement. You don't just say, "Oh, thank you, see you later." You have to explain the meaning of it in tradition, what it means to actually universally. So there are different types of poles. There are friendship poles, like this one is. There are mortuary poles for great chiefs. I've made 2 for Mungo and Tommy Hunt, and my other grandfather, Jonathan Hunt, which are in the graveyard in Lord Bay. That tradition was important to me because it had been lost for 50 years. There's poles that challenge the rank of other chiefs that have falsely raised poles that they don't have the right. They challenge them and exhibit their wealth with the copper. If a chief makes a speech, he doesn't have the right with this copper. That's one of the main crests of the Hunt family, transferred through marriage. Now the carving of the figures are left to the artist to display. You can plunk them on top of one another like that, but the artist has the right to design it the way he thought it should be designed. The higher the quality and the higher the rank of the chief that commissioned you. In this one, it happens to be the whale, and the eagle is standing between the flukes of the whale. And it's very unusual to do it like that. It's very difficult also. So the challenge was to make it look like that. And that took a couple of nightmares and dreams thinking about how to fit it. But as an artist, it's a real challenge to have the eagle sitting between the flukes of the whale. I got leaning forward. A couple of weeks later, as it did work, the whale's tail wraps around the claws of the eagle like that. And then the bottom, the whale, is a whale. The whale is a whole different story. It's a whale that travels around the world sharing its wealth. And it's always showed was a human somewhere. And this time I decided, I was looking at it one night, that the dorsal fin of the whale, to me, looks like it was also the nose of the man upside down, a face of a man. I incorporated that into it. So if you look at it upside down, it's a whole human. That's never been done. I've never done that before. Normally the blowhole of the whale, you can see the human face, is a blowhole of the whale. What I've done before was done a human face upside down, blowhole. It looks like the whale's dorsal fin is the penis of the man. That's what it looks like. We designed it because the legs are like that at the back of the whale, right? That's the option of the artist, but the story is the same. There's a human traveling around the world sharing his wealth. And actually, I did a painting for the Queen in 86, I presented to her of a painting of a whale. And the reason why I did that painting, it was canvas painting about this big, to the Queen represents the Commonwealth people at the time. So I wanted to do something that represents us as someone sharing the wealth all over the world. So in that painting I did for the Queen, it has a human figure inside the whale. And a canvas painting. But that's a universal story of the Northwest Coast, whether it be Tlingit, Hyde, or Tsimshian, or Quagos. So that's the story of that whale. Whether it be Wavinuk, which is a whale, or a killer whale, it doesn't matter. They both share the same reason. They both represent the same reason. So we get down to Bear, which is the bear crest of the protector of the village and a provider of food, with the salmon, which represents all of the coast. In terms of survival, bear protects you and survives. But bear also provides you with a lot of other things after he's gone. The bear teeth, the fur, is all utilized in clothing of mass that we use, and the whole coast does. So it's an all-purpose kind of a figure. And the salmon, of course, is a symbol of survival of the whole coast in terms of food, resources, and that. So this is it was difficult to do because if you look at it, the salmon is one-side view. The rest of it is split images. So it's really hard to do one-side view and the rest are balanced. As an artist, that was hard to do. This one is even the hardest part to do, which is a man. It's like a shaman. He's sitting there. He's sitting down, holding a baton, not a talking stick, but a baton, and he's so unbalanced in terms of left and right. It's not balanced. So now you got to consider that to this. So to keep it, you can easily start putting the nose over here because it doesn't look balanced over there. So you keep going back to the center. And as an artist, it's pretty difficult to do that. So I had fun doing this, but this man here is a wise man. Figure that we'd like to represent a friend of ours that passed away a long time ago, and Sam Travers. I think he was a guy that we were such a great guy, and like a shaman, but knowledgeable and a friend. And the pole really is a friendship pole representing all friends, and especially our very close friend Sam. And when Sam passed away, a year later, I had made a speech at Fifth Street regarding our tradition is 1 year later, you're in mourning till the 1 year, then now he's just completed his journey. And so a couple days before I made a speech at Fifth Street, I had a dream about Sam. And wherever he was in the spirit world, he said he was very happy. He says, I'm fine. I said, well, where are you? How far are you? I guess he said, oh, I'm fine. He said, you're doing fine, I'm fine. He was happy. When I made my speech, it was very emotional for me, as I'm such a close friend, that I said that. But it was a journey. After 1 year, it was complete, and he was happy. That's sort of what this represents. And that's why I incorporated in this. And that's why Shelley and I and Mike talked about this, the history of Sam, like this, that's Sam, and the friendship pole, and the crest pole of the Hunt family and the Quagga people. Yeah, look at that. Thank you.
Also, the meaning behind it is more important than what you're making. The meaning behind it is the tradition of our people. The Quagga people that are more than 10,000 years old, before the last ice age. When you say that, people go, well, no, it can't be true, but it is true. We've been here before the last ice age, and we're still here, and it goes in the Vancouver Island. Before the Ming Dynasty, before the pyramids of Egypt, before Alexander the Great, before all of that. And when you think about it, I can believe that, but it's true. We've been here longer than that. Our tradition is older than that, established by our grandparents and elders and ancestors that made poles like this to represent the tradition and the crest poles of the family. This is the crest pole. When I dedicated this pole, I said this pole was a tree. As an artist, I've now given it a new life. It's not just a tree. Now it is an eagle, whale, bear, and a sheep at the bottom. I was asked by Windsor Castle to do a painting that represents the Queen. Represents the responsibility of the Queen. I chose a whale because the whale represents our people, travels around the world representing the wealth and traditions of the Quagga people, all people. So I think it's appropriate that it should be done for that reason. The design is, of course, is the style of the Quagga people. I explained all this to the Queen when I was explaining to the meaning of the design, that it shares the wealth of what she represents, the wealth of the people of the world. And in the Quagga culture, that is more, that's our tradition exactly. The colors are not really important, except that they represent the southern Quagga design of our people. It's not the northern and southern, it's not a problem here. We're talking about what it represents. It represents my design, our design of the Southern Quagga people. It's not, we're not limited to, it's not necessary to get into and involved with the design concept and the limited to color and all that. But the whale, or the hunt family, or the hunt of the orca, travels in packs where they are dangerous, like all peoples of the world, for protection to themselves. In terms of, on a friendly basis, it travels throughout the world, protecting the people and sharing the wealth of the travel of the whale, or the orca, as you call it. It's a long history of the quagga whale. It's representing orca. We have rattles, headdresses, masks, and designs of the crest people of our people. It's a very reserved and a very traditional and strong tradition represents the Quagga people, the southern Quagga people of the Northwest Coast.